Hello and welcome to Bass Street Blues. Today we're going to be taking a look at how to make expensive sounding chords from your basic chord shapes. Now, a lot of these chords I've researched from the likes of JeffBuckley and Johnnymarr. So the first chord we're going to take a look at is a B minor 9 chord. Ooh. How do we do that? If the first thing we do is we take your basic B minor shape in the 7th position, now this is your standard E minor shape just at the 7th fret. Now we have B here, a 5th here, which is F sharp, and then we have another B. Well, let's go from that B here. And we're going to take that B and we're going to drop it down a tone to A, which is the minor 7 of B minor. And we're going to bar that fret down from the 7th fret of the D string down to the high E. Now, if you really want to while doing this, you can take your thumb and whack it on the low E. We then have the 9th, which is C sharp in this case. And we play that with our pinky finger. And what you heard me do in the performance at the start was hammer that note on, like so, and give it a bit of a wiggle, or a percussive movement. This chord also could be perceived as a D major 7, starting from the 5th of that. So we have D here. That chord there is your standard D major shape in 5th position off of the A string, so your A shape, just played as D major. Now, obviously this is a bit of a stretch. So we could just play that chord from the 5th, and it could be a D major 7. That's the thing with chords. If you ever get the book Chord Chemistry by Ted Green, you will really appreciate that everything is subjective with chords, and it's entirely down to interpretation and the context of which you do something in. Because a chord is made up of 3 notes, the triad, and those 3 notes could be read in any particular order you want them to be read in. Honestly. Despite the supposedly being rules and whatnot, there really isn't. So you'll come across some chords where, as I say, this particular chord could be seen as a few things. So, moving on, as opposed to playing this horrid thing here, you could play it here instead. That would be your basic E major shape, played at the 10th fret to be D major, and again, the octave. I'm going to play it from down there. Here's your triad, 1, 3, 5. And then, as opposed to playing the E, opposed to playing the octave, at the 10th fret of the high E string, we're going to drop that a semitone to C sharp, which will be the major 7. And just while we're sticking with the D, your 5th position A-shaped D major chord, if you were to bar this and add the high E string, you would get the B note, which will give you a D major 6. So as opposed to playing this horrid thing, again, not nice chords, you can play this. The second chord we have is a D major. Again, if we just take it from the basic point of how do we get there, anybody think I was Mr. T on a plane? You have your 5th position D shape, your 5th position A shape D major chord here. Now what we're going to do is we're going to play a variation of what I refer to as the Glen Campbell chord. So Glen Campbell would play a major chord like this. So he'd start the major chord on the 5th, and then he would add an octave of the 5th on the high E string. like so. Now, what we're going to do with this is we're going to take our middle finger off, exposing that open D string, and there's your chord. So we have D, D again, F sharp, A. Now, for those of you going, that sounds familiar, you've probably heard it before because that's the opening chord of The Who's Substitute, which sounds like this. Now, if you have a D in a song and it's nor sharp nor flat, you can maneuver this chord shape around. Experiment with it though, because sometimes the dissonance works. So we can move it down to G, or to C should I say, sorry. There you go. Move it up to G. Move it up to A. Kind of works. Move it to E. Ooh. Is that a dissonance I hear? Anyway, the next chord is an A major 9. Sounds fancy, but it isn't. So we take our open E shape, move it to the 5th position with the A note here. Again, from the octave. And we're going to play the 3rd as well as the octave. And we're going to play the open B and the open E note. Isn't that a lovely, open, drony sound? So what's going on with this chord, I hear you ask? Well, we have the A, we have the C sharp, which is the 3rd, we then have the B, which is the 9th, and then we have the E, which is the 5th. And I had a passing note in the performance, which sounds like this, which would then make it a suspended 2nd, because we are eliminating the 3rd by raising it to a 4th. What you can also do with this, as I explained with the D chord, is you can maneuver it around. Again, see where it works, see where it doesn't. So we have it in A. We have it in E anyway, because B is the 5th and E is the octave of E major. But let's try it in B. Does it work in B? Because B has a B and an E in it. What about D? Also apply that to your minor chord as well. Make that a minor chord. Ooh, does that work? It does on B minor. It does on F sharp minor. Which brings me on to my next chord, which is an F sharp 11. So, how do we get to F sharp 11? Standard E minor open shape. We're going to move that to the 2nd fret, like so. We're then going to take our C sharp, which is the 5th, and use that to be the bass note, or the bottom note. Ooh. Play the 4th up from that, which is F sharp. Play minor 3rd up from that, which is A. And then we have the open B and E strings. Now what you can do with this is a trick that many people use. Jeff Buckley was quite prolific with it. So what Jeff would do, he would take chords that were in your open keys, so that would incorporate the open strings and whatnot, and he would simply move the chords up and down. So if we take E major, major, F sharp minor, G sharp minor, A major, E major, C sharp 7, C sharp minor 7 should I say, and so forth. The final chord is a pretty common chord. I'm sure you've come across it before, but it's the A minor shape, this one, 7, then played at the 9th fret to be F sharp minor 7. What we then do with it is we're going to add our pinky finger to the 12th fret of the high E string, playing the high E, and there you go. So there you go, those are 4 fancy chords created from 4 simple chords. If you have any questions or anything else you'd like to be shown or hear, demonstrated and whatnot, then drop a message down below. Like, share and all that good stuff. And if you got this far, be cool. Thanks for watching.